Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Wanna Know Show. I am your host, Javier Perez. Last Friday, our Knights suffered a very unfortunate setback at Tulsa. Penalties and mental mistakes doomed the Knights, and they dropped the contest against the Golden Hurricane to a score of 34-31. Joining us once again, here's Kyle Nash, the student of the game.
What's up, guys? This is Kumo Kyle Nash, bringing you the latest in UCF Knights football. So, the unfortunate happened. I can't say the unthinkable because I did spend a bunch of time in online print and audio talking about the fact that Tulsa is more dangerous than people gave them credit for, and the truth is that UCF succumbed to that. And now suddenly, there's a fan base that's less than a full half-decade from being winless, now whining about the fact that they won't get to go to a third straight New Year's Six Bowl. And they say entitlements are something that only politicians argue about. Listen, I get it. The case can easily be made that I'm not one of you. I'm not a biggest fan as you guys, right? While I am an alum of UCF, I've tried to keep any bias out of any assessment or piece that I write or talk about or any of that. I've never been one of these cats who is the ultimate fan that goes to the lengths to make sure that I wore the opposing team's colors as my undergarments for superstition. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Although now that I think of it, some blue boxers for the upcoming Boise State game in 2021 would really make for a fantastic stocking stuffer. But anyways, what do I know? I said UCF would lose the conference championship to Memphis in 2017, where they won on the last play in an interception in the end zone in overtime. And I said they'd lose the Peach Bowl to Auburn, and, well, hey, listen, Shaquan Burkett took care of that, didn't he? And when Kurt Street and Joel Klatt all called for the Boise States and the App States and the Fresno States in 2018, UCF made them believers. But now that a bit of luck doesn't go UCF's way, I kind of expected the Knights fans to have resolve based on what I'd seen the past two seasons. What I expected when a local columnist came out with some clickbait article about UCF being a run-of-the-mill program in the group of five, I figured the response would be something like this.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
I didn't expect people calling for the firing of a coach who won every game last year except for the last one of the season. I left that one to Alabama fans, especially after losing to LSU.
Wrong side, what?
And listen, I get it that there's plenty to be frustrated about. Turnovers, infighting, penalties, 12 men on the field. Certainly all the criticism is justified. But perhaps you should celebrate that this time last year, another top program in the state, FSU, was fighting to become bowl eligible and failed. Or at the very least, rejoice that one of your guys, Greg McCrae, is going to return to play in the next contest at Tulane, recovering from injuries he suffered trying to help your beloved Knights reach postseason play. This is Kumo Kyle Nash, the student of the game. Find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. And check out my UCF Knights writings on sportsmediapass.com. And check out my podcast, Night Class, on their iTunes and SoundCloud accounts. Also, check out coverage you'll see on oldschool101.com for UCF and the Orlando Magic. Until next time, everyone, class dismissed.
Thanks, Kyle. Joining us for a special edition of your weekly predictions, here's Jason Banning.
Thank you, Javier. Hi, everyone. It's Jason Bannon. I have another set of predictions for you this week for UCF versus BYE. But first, let's take a look at last week's game against Tulsa. Moving on, I ran 20 scores for UCF versus BYE. And it's interesting, I have BYE winning 3 of them. Now, there is ultimately a heavy UCF lean in this game. But BYE, let's face it, they're intriguing. Almost metaphysical. They're like the Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny of the college football world. They can be at any given stadium at any given time, any given day, multiple days of the week, and they've been doing it since the beginning of sport. And it's interesting, every team that ultimately plays them comes out relatively unscathed and injury-free. This won't matter. UCF will prevail in this game to score 38-17. Without further ado, I hand it back to you.
Thanks, Jason. Uh, it's hard to say, especially when you add the variable of leadership intangibles. Obviously, Milton was definitely able to rally the troops and get the guys ready for the game. And I'm not saying Gabriel don't know. I don't know the dynamic of the team with Milton on the sidelines versus and with Gabriel behind the helm versus with Milton behind it. It's one of those things that that is definitely one of the intangibles that you want in a quarterback, but there's so many other variables. I mean, it's got to be the guy that's 100% healthy, that's 100% in control of the playbook, that it's 100% the better option. I don't know that I can really say who I would want one over the other. Was that Mark? It sounds like a Mark question. All of the above. I wouldn't be able to answer that. UCF is very, controlling, as they should be when it comes to injuries, and you will know if somebody's hurt, like when Greg McRae got hurt during the game, but as far as the extent of that and how far along they are, unfortunately, I'm not at the press conference when it happens, so I'm not able to get any more details about that. And even if I did, I just don't know that I would feel comfortable talking about that on a public forum. Like, it just doesn't seem right. That's a great question. I don't know. I'm as puzzled as the rest of you. I'm not going to sit here from my chair and try to put fingers on what's going on or what isn't. There's definitely some issues with our second half. We're either 100% there or we're not 100% there. I know that I read somewhere this week that somebody said that Tulsa's stadium must have been built over a burial ground. I'm starting to believe it because it's just crazy. We've never won at Tulsa. I don't even understand how. I mean, we've been playing them for so many years. It just doesn't make sense to me. I would like to see. I don't want to see second half adjustments. I want to see full games. I want to see games where we know, like, right off the bat, we can go in with a plan of attack and execute it and just get some points. Get the defense rolling. We've had games like that this season. We have. I would love for that to become the norm. As to what needs to happen for that to happen, your guess is as good as mine. But I have faith in the coaching staff. I have faith in the players. I'm pretty sure that they will figure it out. And over the next two games, we'll see some good performances and great performances against Tulane and against that place from Tampa. This is something that I brought up on a previous episode where, I think one of the things the team has to work on is just penalties. The team needs to cut down on the penalties. It's just, I mean, you're talking 15 penalties for 120 yards. One of those penalties erased a 80-yard run or something like that by Adrian Killens. And we're shooting ourselves in the foot when we're doing that. I don't know. I wish I did. Yeah, these are a lot easier to make after we win. Thank you all for watching. This weekend our Knights have a very well-deserved bye, and tune in next week for another episode of the 1-0 Show. Go Knights! God, how do we lose to